Doing a test one,
Test one,
two.
and a three. All right.
Microphone check in a place to be.
Hey, we out here at the what this place called again?
Cigars International,
Cigar
Brandon,
International,
Florida.
Brandon, Florida. We here just vibing with another episode of the Merryman Podcast. You know, man, I'll let you do the introduction, man. I'll be messing that thing up, man.
Okay. Merryman's Podcast. Of course, we've been away for quite some time, which was intentional. Of course, we're fathers, husbands, and we're just getting some time to ourselves. Welcome again to the Merryman's Podcast, where we discuss our perspectives on marriage. But tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to try something different. We're basically going to pivot our conversation away from the marriage conversation and just deal more so with not necessarily men, but how we approach the topic of what we say, the high value man. That seems to be the hottest topic right now, and we want to provide our perspective on what a high value man looks like. Irv?
Yeah, man. So as Nate said, so just to give you a little background about our show, as you can see, we're very casual, very natural. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
brother. This is more so a conversational style. You know, just like when I'm at my boy crib or we are out and about, we're doing a little talk. So our podcast is a little bit different. We keep it real. You know what I'm saying? We give you the natural, the unedited. What you see is what you get. Because
Right.
again, life is not about no edited stuff. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that.
Life is real. We make mistakes. We say certain things that we shouldn't say. We act a certain way we shouldn't act. We live. And through that, we learn to be better. We reflect. We realize where we went wrong. And we make the correction. So as Nate stated with the topic for today, which is a conversation that we had several times before, the high value man, what is that really? Now for us being married men, you know, high value could mean so many different things to so many people. But for us, a high value is a man that understands who he is. A man that understands his faith, a man that understands his belief, and a man that is there whenever he's needed. And a man that is able to be vulnerable. And a man that is able to express himself in ways that some may think not really necessary, but in certain situations, you know, you have to be able to speak your truth.
How you doing?
So Nate, what else you got to fill into that, man?
Yeah, so tonight's topic or discourse is going to be, let's talk about it. Of course, this is the Married Men's Podcast, and we're going to talk about what we talk about as married men. And we're going to be raw and unedited, and this is our persona, and this is what we're going to give to you. I hope that you enjoy the show. Well, not necessarily a show. This is pretty much
This is real
life.
talk.
This is life
That's
point.
life.
Right. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We desire to launch live. We need about 25 more subscribers. We got to get to
hit
that 50
like
mark.
button. Subscribe.
Like it. Please don't have us out here begging. We need the likes. All right.
For sure. So let's get into it, Nate. Let's get into it, man.
High
So go ahead.
value man. So I'm
Put up
gonna
that topic.
I'm
Put
gonna
up that topic.
look at my notes.
Yeah, let's
So,
get into it.
a high value man. So we're gonna start here. What is a high value man? I'm gonna start with this question. When we're evaluating a company, a startup, the first question is, what is the company's valuation? Basically, how much is the company worth? Based on some analytics, some forecasting. I want to look at the high value man from that perspective. First, what's his valuation? What's his worth? All right, so I want to provide some measurements of how we can qualify and quantify a man's and or woman's perceived value. This goes both ways for females and males. Men, when you're looking for someone to link up with for long term, women, the same thing. All right, so I've split this up into 3 categories: monetary, aesthetics, behavior, and religion. So under monetary, I have the assets, the employment, aesthetics, looks, appearance, behavior.
In the thing, now you make shaking the camera, man.
Man,
Look how we shake.
I'm excited about this bit. All right, so aesthetics, looks, appearance, behavior, conversation, standards, and lastly, religion. So I've segmented this conversation into 4 talking points. So let's start off with valuation. What is this person's worth? All right, we got some lights. You know, we got this mocha dark chocolate out here representing the melanin. All right, so valuation. Let's start with monetary assets. What do you think about assets? What should a man have in regards to his assets?
Well, you know what? Having an asset, it could mean so many different things depending on the man, you know what I'm saying? Society see asset as the amount of money that you have and also the amount of materialistic things that you possess. That's what society view asset as, and several different other things that is more tangible per se. But for me, Nate, assets, honestly, is my health. Asset for me, Nate, is making sure that my wife and kids have everything that they need without having to worry. Asset for me is being able to get up and look at my wife and say, baby, what can I do for you today? And she informed me, and then I do whatever it is I need to do to get it done. Those are the assets for me that matter from the aspect of understanding what is and how value man. Because again, if you look at it, money come and go, materialistic come and go.
Right.
This house could go, but me, I'm the asset. My wife,
okay,
she's the asset.
Herb said he's the marble table.
Hey, for real. You know, my kids, they are the assets. If they're no longer available, if they're no longer here, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
So for me, man, I view asset as being present. You know what I'm saying? Being able to do the things that I need to do for my kids and for my wife, man. And also for the community, for people that actually need me to be there for. Because again, like I said, man, we have to change the narrative on what asset really is, bro. Because, I mean, like I said, the things that really matter the most, we don't see them as asset because they're not giving us some type of fulfillment and joy. You know what I'm saying?
So what I did quickly, I wanted to define what assets look like. An asset is something that has value, such as possession or property that is owned by a person, business, or organization. It can also refer to positive features that give someone an advantage. So Herb basically said he is the marble table. Forget the wooden table. My dude said he's the marble table. And in regards to assets, I'm just going to pivot slightly because there are times where women are courting or looking to link up with someone, vice versa with a man. Does this person have transportation to take you out on a date? Or are you always picking them up, or are you always picking her up? Does this person has financial resources? Like you're going out on a date, who's paying for the meal? And we're not about this 50-50. We're not about to engage in a 50-50 conversation perspective, because that's besides the point.
That is beside the point.
Like pay for the meal. Who cares?
I mean, whoever paid for the meal, they paid for the meal.
Doesn't make you less of a man or more than a man, less of a woman or more than a woman. So asset, and we're not looking at, okay, I'm making millions. I'm not making millions. I was talking to my homeboy last month, telling him I will probably never touch six figures. The most at most high 60s because of my profession.
Yo,
Education.
that's real, man. Hold up, though, man.
Education.
Now, you just said something very profound, man. Like, you just said that you just spoke with one of your homeboy, and you said you probably would never make six figures. Now, do your wife see you as someone that's incapable?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
not at all.
So, because you say that you can't make six figures no more, do your wife think of you having nothing?
No, not less than.
Oh, okay.
Because the perspective is, oh, he or she has to make six figures. That's not reality. I'm not making six figures. The most I've ever made was about $75,000, and I was working 2 jobs, not 1, 2 jobs.
Keeping it real.
So that is the perspective, and again, that me working 2 jobs doesn't diminish my value or diminish or provide some type of perspective of incompetence, because that's not even the point. But yeah, assets. What's valuable to you? All right. Next, employment. Should a guy have a job?
Hell yeah. What the heck you talking about? Should a guy have a job, man? That's not even
What about these?
a question.
What about these people who are saying, yeah, I'm self-employed, but don't have a track record of? I'm gonna be careful, because I enjoy self-employment, but the challenge with self-employment is the volatility of self-employment. If your company isn't a long-standing company to where you have X amount of employees, or people like to call themselves CEOs, but you don't have any employees. In order to be a CEO, you have to at least have 10 employees. That's business 101. But yeah.
But I say this too, Nate. You're right, though. I mean, as far as having a job, what does that look like for some people?
Yeah.
What
does that look
because
like?
again, I mean, one thing we have to make sure we keep in mind is that for us, we see things totally different from a lot of people.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And we process things totally different from a lot of people. And again, being a married man, we function different from a lot of people, because every man doesn't do the same thing.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about having a job, I mean, for most men, having a job is going to work from 8 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some men, being an entrepreneur, how do you define that? It's their job. You know what I'm saying? Now, you gave an example of being an entrepreneur is that you can't call yourself a CEO if you don't have more than 10 people, at least 10 people.
At least.
Working for you. You know what I'm saying? Then you're really
On payroll.
on payroll. Then you think at that time you're really doing a gig. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
1099.
Yeah, 1099. That's not really a job. You know what I'm saying? That's just you day by day
Hustling.
to get this, to get this, to get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we really got to understand the definition of what a job is. Oh, you're able to make money. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you say that, can this money that you're making sustain you without you having to go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So really, honestly, man, most men got to really understand that. I mean, you really got to ask yourself, is what I'm doing a job, or is what I'm doing a hobby? Is what I'm doing a gig? You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't sustain yourself for a long period of time without having to I'm thinking about it, but I can't really put it together. Hey, y'all, we out here outside, man. Y'all hear this motorcycle coming through. Like I said, we keeping it real and uncut.
Yeah.
So as we're having this conversation, a dude coming in with a motorcycle, man, that thing look nice too. But on a real tip though, we really got to really identify the functionality of having a job.
Yes.
Yeah, we cool. Appreciate it, brother. And it's all based on that individual man or woman.
Yeah.
And how do they define that job? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Sometimes though, honestly, that gig could sustain you for a long period of time.
Right, depending on the temperament of whatever market you in. But keep in mind that the volatility in self-employment is is high. You have to be, if the goal is to become married at the end of the day, then like Irving said, is this profession or what I'm in sustainable employment?
And also, you got to think about it too from the perspective of when you getting ready to start a family. You know what I'm saying?
Always gone.
I mean, you're always gonna be gone. Your wife not here. I mean, but you're not near your wife. You're not near your kids. You know, and that's another thing for me, Nate. I could honestly tell you, man. I make sure I'm a man that want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm a man that want to be with my wife. I'm a man that want to help my wife raise the kids.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So I don't ever wanted to have a job or a career that take me away from my wife or kids. That's not my makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be there for them. So, and with that requires some form of sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And I think we were having a conversation before as far as what do we sacrifice? Do we sacrifice making money at that job? Mm-hmm. Or do we sacrifice being a husband or being a father or helping our wife raise those kids? Then once those kids are out of the house, then you and your wife. Now you could somewhat be gone for a certain amount of time, and try to create that. So it's really depending on where your family level's at. Depending on where you at with your wife, depending on where you at with your family, that's how you're gonna be able to determine what type of job that you're gonna be able to have, what type of career you're gonna be able to have. And also, again, it go back to what kind of man are you?
And that comes with self-discovery from your teenage years, your 20s, 30s, 40s. In contrast, I'm hearing the conversation that most men and or women aren't established until like late 40s, mid to late 40s, 50s. So your teenage years is the best time for you to explore. When you're 20, if you want to go to college, a trade, that's your choice. Explore. Do not sit around. And this point is mostly for my younger guys. If you grab a hold to this conversation, avoid sitting around wasting time being entertained. If you're going to be entertained, entertain yourself with videos that's going to propel you to your career. For example, I'm a musician. I'm also an educator and a technologist. But my career is primarily technology education. In contrast, I'm not a full-time musician because of the volatility in the marketplace. Not to say that I'm a trash musician.
My boy definitely ain't trash.
Just for me, the volatility, the time, and the money just isn't there to be sustainable. I'm going to constantly be gone. So I'm having to constantly develop myself or reinvent myself for my career path.
So Nate, let me ask you a question though, because I have a buddy of mine that's experiencing this. Like you said before, as far as a job and a career and the type of job that you're going to decide to do. At this point in your life right now, what matter more? Making money or being a wife or being a husband and a father to your kids?
Well, I'll have to approach both. Money is important. However, I'm also concerned with how much time I'm investing to talking to my son, my wife, as well as my daughter. How often they see me. Money is important for the purposes of sustainability so that we can progress. So right now, we have some short-term and long-term goals that we want to achieve. We can't achieve those goals without a certain, I don't even say a certain income level. We know what the dollar amount looks like. In order to get to that dollar amount, that means that we got to make some other types of sacrifices.
Yo, well, you say something though about the choices that you have to make.
Oh,
you say that your kids have to see you.
Yeah.
And most people will argue, well, they can see me when they see me. I come home late at night. I mean, I gotta go make that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They want this, they want that. I can't be home all day long with them and killing time.
Right.
So with that part of it, man, I think for me, you gotta have a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would share this. And you made a good point as far as your upbringing. I grew up seeing my father work. My father was a hard worker, bro.
Mine too.
My father would get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work. And come back home every night, though. And on the weekend, my dad would make sure he'd be home with us on the weekend.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, we'll be home doing housework. On Sunday, we'll go to church, and then we all come eat together as a family.
Oh man,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And so, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you just, I would say early 90s. We're around the same age. I recall just sitting at the table with my siblings, my mom and my dad, just sitting at the table talking. There were no cell phones. And if the house phone rang, nobody wasn't running to answer the phone.
Yeah.
We just knew, and no TV wasn't on. Ain't like we had cable anyway. So we were sitting at the table, eating. I don't recall the conversations, but I do recall you just triggered a memory about sitting and eating and the dad being present. Like his presence needs to be known, so that the kid can see, okay, this is mom, this is dad. Not to say that, oh, mom cooks and dad always worked. No, this was an equal sharing situation with my parents. My dad cooked, my mom cooked. My dad worked, my mom worked. My dad would work excessively. My dad was in the cleaning business, maintenance business. My mom, she was a nurse. She was in a nursing business. So we barely saw them. We were mostly home alone. 5 kids, me being the oldest. So
Now, it's funny you say that, man. The reason I brought that up, man, since we're talking about the job aspect, is that the model that I had was my father being home.
yeah,
Yes, he worked hard as hell, bro, to make sure that my mom was taken care of, to make sure that I was taken care of, to make sure that my sister was taken care of, to make sure that the light was on, to make sure that we were fed, to make sure that we had clothes and everything else. But he was always home every night, and not late night to the part where we're about to go to bed. Enough time, by the time I got up from football practice or whatever athletics thing that I was doing, he was home. And he was home helping my mom. He was home being with my sister. He was home telling me what I needed to do. So the model that I had for me was, yes, a man got to be a provider. But at the same time, a man got to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not seen, then that's when certain things can happen where you are not there to give the proper instruction.
Power dynamics.
On how they are able to maneuver and move forward. So for me, bro, which is why it was kind of a no-brainer for me being able, when I became of age to where I have my own responsibility, when I have kids, it's like, I'm always gone. Like, sometimes I will have to go cut yards. Sometimes I had to go find a different get a second job to help pay for the birthday parties, to help pay for this, to help pay for that. But guess what though? I make sure they see me. Now, I may have to leave and then come back, but you gonna see daddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Saying? And the presence alone, bro, matters. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes as fathers, man, we think, man, I'm making all this money for them, man. They ain't enjoying this. They don't got to see me. Yo, one thing I've learned, bro, money doesn't bring joy. Money brings you comfort.
Yeah, a lot of comfort.
Money give you certain things that you probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But what are those things compared to your father giving you a hug? What are those things compared to your father throwing a football with you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the case of us, we have daughters. What are those things that you could ever give your kid that money could buy compared to you taking your daughter to the father and daughter dance?
Yeah.
Compared to you taking your daughter to a restaurant and say, let's go eat. Showing her how to love herself independently from another man telling them that they look good.
Right. We're
Come
the
on, man.
we are the. I'm enjoying this conversation because we buried my dad about 2 years ago. My dad died. He was a diabetic, and he died because he had an infection in his body. But I recall memories. My dad hugging us. We getting spankings. I'm whooping you because I love you. Like, nah, nigga, you don't love us. This beating hurt. But I remember those conversations. Perhaps I would have liked my dad to be more intellectual, but my dad wasn't. When I became older, I appreciated my dad for his personality. Like, I didn't want to. At one point, I wanted him to be molded to other men that I've met. Oh, these guys are quote unquote successful. But what I know, and I'm probably getting ahead of the conversation, these guys' morals, they were immoral. That's in later in the conversation. These guys were immoral, but my dad was, not to say that he had his flaws. If he did, we didn't see. He didn't project those flaws. He was kind. He was loving. He was giving. That's what and he didn't play any games. He would have literally killed somebody, fooling with his daughters, his sons, and my mom. That's the memories. Or you can't, and I can understand why people have that missing element, as if there's something missing, a missing piece in a life.
Man, you know what? Another thing is, man, since we're on this topic of jobs and being present and the fathers being alive.
Assets. We're still talking about assets.
Still talking about the asset. Like I said, asset is more than what you think it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, Nate, my father also passed away, man, at a very young age.
Yeah.
He was only 44 when he passed away.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm saying? And my story is a little bit different because, you know, me and my father, I mean, I'm Haitian, so, you know, tough love is a natural way of telling you I love you without saying I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So growing up, man, my dad and we never really had that true father and son relationship. Like I said, but my dad was present though. He was there. And I would not take any of that stuff away from what my dad had installed in me, man. Especially when it comes to my work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
The same.
Whatever the job that I need to do to provide for my family, let's believe it, I could do it.
Yeah.
It don't matter what it is, my family not gonna go without. I'd rather not eat and make sure they eat.
That's what I saw my dad
You know
do the same thing. Yeah.
I'd rather not have certain things to make sure they have what they need. I make sure that whatever it is I need to do to make sure they safe, that's what I gotta do. And that's what I saw my father do. And that's what my dad had instilled in me. You know what I'm saying? Now, did he say I love you? Did he give me hugs? No.
Yeah.
But guess what though? All the stuff that he did do,
Yeah.
those were his way of saying I love you and give me hugs. Not that I have a son of my own.
Mm-hmm.
Now, definitely because of the divorce that I've experienced, there's certain things I can't do with him. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of things that I received from my father that I'm still installing him, but providing the added substance.
Right.
By telling him I love him. By giving him a hug. By kissing him on the forehead, you know what I'm saying? Son, you know I love you, son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing those type of things. So those are all the different assets of being a high value man, that if you possess those things, it will definitely create a mansion in your home.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So women, when you are scouting for a man, I'm going to give you some advice. You need to go around this man's family. See how he treats his sisters. See how he treats his brothers. His parents, if they are alive. Scope out his friends.
Yeah.
Because we can pretty much provide a perspective on how that person is. Look at how that person interact when you're out with the waiter. Is he gentle? Is he kind? Is he a good steward of his finances? Those are observations that you should be making to where you can avoid quote unquote red flags.
And those are a lot of observations that you need to make it too. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, but
Yeah,
I would
because we
say
can,
this.
we can stay on this.
I would say this. Another part of having a high value man dealing with the assets, come with that man able to tell you his true desire, his feeling, and you listening to that feeling as a wife and not abusing that vulnerability that he's demonstrating towards you. One of the good things that I know that my wife have done for me, I could be stubborn, I could be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But one thing she said to me that really touched my heart is when I would express to her some of my values, some of the things that I would like to do, some of the things that I want us to do, is when I hear her repeat those things to me. Saying, baby, we have this. Baby, we do this. We make this. And honestly, that's what I asked for. Is you learn me well enough to where even if I'm not there, you already know what I stand for. You already know that this is what my husband do. And if we could have that camaraderie with each other, where we are able to sustain one another and understand the value that we both share, even if our values are different from one another, but we understand what those values are, and then we cherish those values together for the greater good of the family. Yo, ladies, that's an asset that is meaningful. Now let's jump into the next topic.
All right. So we've covered the monetary assets and employment. Next, aesthetics. Now,
I leave that up to you now. I don't know nothing about no aesthetic. Sure. I know crap.
basically,
I can't
aesthetics.
even say it. Aesthetic. Aesthetic.
Looks.
Oh, that's what
Appearance.
aesthetic means? Sure. I thought you were saying something about clothes. That's why I said I live in the loop. You laughing. I'm dead serious. Hey.
Looks.
I don't know. Aesthetic.
Looks. Appearance.
Nate using big words. Y'all.
Guys.
Aesthetic.
Guys, I want to encourage
I'm
you.
joking, but not joking.
Men, I want to encourage you to invest time in looking at various magazines. Go into stores, try out clothes. So you might like the baggy fit, you might like the athletic fit, and you might like the bespoke fit to where your clothes are fitting you, not overtly tight, but that.
Yo, did you hear Nate say bespoke? I can't even say that word. Well, I'll tell you. But go ahead though, man. Continue. I'm just keeping it real, y'all.
But yeah, you want to go into these stores, try out some things. Become, as people say, become a better version of yourself. What does that look like? Okay, I'm here today. I probably look like trash today, but tomorrow, present continuous, I'm going to change my appearance. I'm going to reinvent myself. That means I'm keeping my facial hair trimmed or in a style that is unique. I'm going to make sure that I'm well manicured. I don't have nose hairs in my nose, hairs in my ear, sleep in my eyes, making sure that your appearance is desirable for the woman that you want. Because there are some times where there's guys, they're going after these women that's out of their league. And when I mean out of their league, I'm referring to look desirable. Not to say that you can't get the woman, but look at least desirable. Don't look as if you don't have a care in the world.
Yo, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. Give me a second.